All right, YouTube, I wanted to contribute just a little bit. This truck, it's a 2015 Cascadia 113 with the DD13 in it. Also has the, I don't know if I can see this here, the smart shift. The truck started having a transmission fault code, and that was picked up when we disconnect from a trailer. Also, we'd experience it when we hit a bump. Sometimes also while it was raining, we'd get this. And so we'd get a transmission code. Sometimes we'd get an ABS code. We'd also get a traction control code. And we'd also get the Meritor Wabco on guard. The radar would disconnect. So we basically, the whole dash would light up with a bunch of codes, and you just think, you don't know what's going on. Sometimes you could drive with it. Other times it would not go into gear. So anyways, after a bunch of research, I figured out the problem, researched it up and found the problem. So I want to show you what it is. On the back of the truck, as the wiring harness comes from the truck to the back, it makes a, there's a bunch of connectors here going to the back, extending back to the back axis. Well, on this particular 10-pin connector, this goes to the ABS. Now somebody has previously, they must have had this similar problem before, so they've replaced some ABS wires on this truck. And I'll take this apart. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Hang on a second. Do this here. So this is the connector, and by all accounts, there's no corrosion, there's no problems in here. So you'd kind of just pass this connector up thinking it was fine. But what would happen is, you could get once you could get the codes deleted and you're running the truck, you could come back here and with this connector snapped together, you could bump it and it would set all the codes off. And so, and I was getting codes like the ABS, third axle modulator valve failure, ground, positive to ground, stuff like that. So a bunch of kind of weird codes. Also, some things saying like, possibly the ECU or the ABS, computer was out. So anyways, this is what the problem was. Let me show you here. So what you've got to do is, basically we just had bad connection on the plugs here. Even though everything looks perfect and no corrosion, if you take this, this is just the male version, over here that's outside of it. So if you take this and you do a little slide test, you shove this in and see if there's a little bit of resistance pushing in and a little bit of resistance coming out. And so as I went across and I did this, I found my center pin here, the one that's in now, there was no resistance in and no resistance out. So it would just slide in super easy. So anyways, so I went through and checked them all, and I had pretty much two that had failed. So on this particular module, let's see if I can do this on camera here real quick. You pry this this little blue keeper. I don't know if that's a technical term, but that's what I'll call it for today. Okay, so we take that out, And then, I don't know if I can get this up close on the camera. Right down in here, if I can see that little tab right there, you just get underneath it and pull it back just a little bit. And then when you do that, you can pull the wire out. Oh, of course, you got to take this this metal clip off on the back. But I don't want to take it all apart right now. But anyways, you pry this guy off, this black metal piece, and it slides down the wires a little bit. And then you pull back this little tab, and you're able to slide the wire out, and it will have, this is how they come from the dealership. You know, you just request this piece, you pull this guy off, and it's just a little, basically you just put the wire in there, and then crimp that down, and then shove it back in. And when you shove it back in, make sure there's a little bit of a taper on the front of this guy here, so make sure you shove it in the right way. The taper will go towards the uphill side, or the top where the clip is. So anyways, huge problem as far as you know, symptoms in the truck. Matter of fact, I mean, you know, there's some days this truck didn't run because, or didn't, you know, we didn't haul any loads because we couldn't figure it out. And so now we finally figured it out. Those little clips are, you know, I don't know, they might be 30 cents a piece or something. They're very cheap. But anyways, this is a apparently a common problem on this 10-pin connector here, 2015 Cascadia. And I'm making the assumption that this is probably a problem with these 10-pin connectors, not necessarily just here, but all over the truck. So doing that little drag test, you know, with the male into the female there, and making sure there's some resistance, I think that's a really important test to do. No resistance, no contact. So, all right, talk to you later.